Hey, hey. So I want to come on and do a reading with you guys today. And I have to say, before I even touch these cards, the energy that was coming through as I was sitting down to prepare for this, I kept getting pulled back to it over and over again, and I could not start until I talked about it. Okay, so if you were guided to this title for any reason, there is absolutely a message in here for you. Remember, it is collective, so only take what resonates and leave the rest for somebody else. If you are new here, welcome. I use the cards as a tool to help guide whatever messages want to come through. Okay, so before I even split the deck, I want to talk about what came through for me this morning because it is so connected to this reading that I feel like Spirit was literally preparing me for this all day. Okay. I was on a walk, and I kept seeing the number 222 everywhere. And I know that sounds like something people say all the time, but you guys, it was not subtle. It was on a license plate, it was on a building, it was on my phone when I checked the time, and then I passed a couple on the street, and I want to tell you about this couple because this is the message Spirit gave me before these cards even came out. This couple was walking toward me on the sidewalk, and I could tell immediately there was an age difference between them. Not a dramatic one necessarily, but it was visible. And what struck me was not the age difference at all. It was the way they were walking together, like completely in sync, not holding hands dramatically or being performative about it, just walking side by side with this quiet, easy, deeply comfortable energy that you cannot fake. That kind of comfort only comes from two people who genuinely recognize each other at a soul level, who feel like home to each other regardless of what the outside numbers say. And I heard Spirit say very clearly, frequency does not have a birth year. Okay, that just landed in me so hard. Frequency does not have a birth year. And I thought about that the whole rest of my walk, and by the time I got home, I knew exactly what reading I needed to do today. So if this title found you, I genuinely believe Spirit pulled you here. Okay, let us get into it. Splitting the deck, first impressions okay, so I am splitting the deck now, and immediately, we have the Two of Cups coming out here, and the Hierophant, and oh wow, the Star is also here. Okay, you guys. Okay, so right out of the gate, I am seeing a soul level connection. The Two of Cups is not a casual card. This is not a situationship card. Okay. This is the card of genuine mutual recognition, of two people seeing each other, really seeing each other. And the Hierophant right next to it is giving me this feeling of something that goes beyond just attraction. Something with a deeper meaning, a spiritual significance. Like this connection was written somewhere before you two even met. And then the Star, oh, the Star is so beautiful here. This is a card of hope and alignment and divine timing, and I am already getting the number 222 confirmed right here in this energy because 222 is alignment, it is partnership, it is two energies coming into sync with each other, and Spirit is saying that is exactly what this is. Okay, let me keep going because there is a lot here. Strong Scorpio energy right off the bat, you guys. Very strong. And I am also getting Taurus energy, which makes sense because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs, and opposite signs have this magnetic pull toward each other that is almost impossible to explain logically. They just feel each other. Okay, and I am getting some Pisces here too. So if you are a Pisces, or if the person you are thinking about has strong Pisces placements, that is going to be a confirmation for you. Okay, what Spirit gave ME before the cards, the age gap message, so I want to stay here for a second before we go into the individual cards because Spirit is really pushing on this and I do not want to rush past it. Okay, the age gap piece of this reading is very specific and Spirit wants me to address it directly Because what I am getting here is that for a lot of you watching this, the age difference between you and this person has been something that you have thought about, maybe worried about, maybe used as a reason to second guess something that your soul is screaming at you is right. Okay, and Spirit is saying the gap you are focused on is not the relevant measurement. Okay, the relevant measurement is frequency. The relevant measurement is how this person makes you feel at a soul level, whether your values align, whether your vision for your life aligns, whether when you are with this person there is a quality of ease and recognition that does not require explanation. That is what matters here. That is what 222 is pointing to. Not that you were born in the same decade, but that you are vibrating at the same frequency. And when two people are vibrating at the same frequency, everything else becomes context rather than obstacle. Now, I want to be clear here because Spirit is being very specific. This is not a reading about ignoring red flags or bypassing wisdom. Okay, if there is a significant age gap and it comes with genuine incompatibility, different life stages, different desires for the future, genuine misalignment in values that is real information, and Spirit respects your discernment. But that is not what I am picking up in this reading. What I am picking up is two people who actually align in the ways that matter most and are letting a number create doubt about something their souls already recognize. Okay, that is a very different situation. Card 1. The Lovers, this was not an accident. The Lovers comes out first, and you guys, come on. The Lovers in a reading about a connection that has an age gap and a frequency match. Spirit is not being subtle today. Okay, the Lovers is not just a romantic card. It is a card about a meaningful choice. About two people recognizing each other as a genuine match at a level that is not just physical. It is intellectual. It is spiritual. It is the soul saying yes. This one. This is the one I recognize. And what I am getting with this card in this position is that this connection carries a quality of divine orchestration. Like the circumstances that brought you two together were not random. Were not coincidence. Were engineered by something larger than either of you. Okay, so let me tell you what I am getting practically here, because I want this to be useful for you. I am seeing two people who maybe came into each other's lives through an unexpected channel. Maybe you were not looking for this. Maybe this person showed up in a context that had nothing to do with romance, a work situation, a shared community, a chance meeting that did not feel like a chance meeting. And somewhere in the first conversation, or maybe even before the first conversation, something registered. Something in you went quiet and then went loud at the same time. That very specific feeling of someone familiar. Someone you feel like you already know, even though you are just meeting. Okay, that is Lover's energy. That is a soul recognition moment. And here is what is so interesting about the age gap piece in the context of the Lover's card. When the soul recognizes someone, there is no age on that recognition. The soul does not do math. It does not calculate years and decide whether the gap is acceptable. It just knows. And what Spirit is saying is that your soul has already done the knowing. The hesitation, the second guessing, the what will people think that is the mind catching up to something the soul already settled. Okay, the Lovers says, trust what your soul already knows. Gemini energy is strong here, and Gemini rules communication and connection and the meeting of minds. And I am getting here that one of the things that makes this frequency match so undeniable for both of you is the quality of your conversations. The way you can talk. The ease of it. The depth of it. Things that should feel awkward because of the age difference or the context in which you met just do not feel awkward, because when two people are operating at the same frequency, the conversation flows in a way that age simply cannot manufacture. You either vibe or you do not. And you guys vibe. Okay, card 2, the Star Divine Timing brought you to each other. The star settles in as the second card, and this card is so specifically about timing that I want to spend some real time here, because Spirit is being very deliberate about what it is showing me. Okay, the star is the card that appears after the Tower, after something has collapsed or ended or been stripped away, after a person has gone through a season of real difficulty or real transformation. And it represents the moment when the sky clears and something genuinely hopeful becomes visible. It is not naive hope. It is not wishing on a star without foundation. It is the hope that comes from someone who has genuinely done the work, survived the difficult season, and arrived at a new place in themselves. And now this person, now this connection. Okay, what I am getting here for a lot of you is that one or both of you has been through something significant before this connection came along. A relationship that ended in a way that was painful. A season of really focusing on yourself after something or someone broke your heart. A period of real transformation, the kind that looks like struggle from the outside, but is actually preparing you for something much better. And this connection is showing up as the star moment. The moment after the Tower when something genuinely beautiful becomes possible because you are finally in a place to receive it. Okay, and here is what is so specific about the age gap in the context of the star card. Sometimes the age difference between two people is actually evidence of timing rather than incompatibility. Okay, think about this. If you are the younger person in this connection, there is something in you that developed earlier than it does in most people your age. A maturity, a seriousness about life, a depth of feeling that sometimes made you feel out of place with people in your own age group. You always felt slightly ahead, like you were vibrating at a frequency that most people around you had not arrived at yet. And then this person shows up, and they are already there, already operating at the frequency you have been at for years. Okay, that is star energy. That is divine timing, not accident. And if you are the older person in this connection, Spirit wants you to hear this specifically. Do not let the world's opinion of what makes sense make you dismiss something that genuinely makes sense at a soul level. The star is not a card that shows up for conventional choices. It is a card that shows up for choices that are true. Okay, and something about this connection is genuinely true in a way that your soul recognizes, even when your mind is still asking questions. Aquarius energy here as well. And Aquarius is the sign that has always been ahead of conventional thinking, that sees possibility where others see obstacle, that chooses authenticity over what looks acceptable. And Spirit is saying that Aquarius energy is present in this connection in a significant way. One or both of you has that quality of refusing to be limited by what other people think a relationship is supposed to look like. Okay, and that quality is part of what makes this connection possible. Card 3, Ace of Cups A, new emotional beginning that neither of you is expecting. Ace of Cups comes out, and oh, you guys, this is so beautiful in this reading. Okay, the Ace of Cups is the very first breath of new emotional possibility. The cup is empty and being offered, ready to be filled with something genuine, something that did not exist before this person came into your life. And what Spirit is showing me here is that this connection opened something in at least one of you, possibly both, that you thought was closed. Okay, I want to talk about what that closed thing looks like. because I am getting very specific imagery here. I am seeing someone who had put up walls, not dramatically, not in the way of someone who announces they are done with love, just quietly, internally, after being hurt in a way that made staying open feel like too much of a risk. They went inward. They got very focused on themselves, on their work, on their own growth, and they did that genuinely, not as a strategy, not as a performance of being unbothered, just as a necessary act of self-preservation after something painful. And then this person showed up, and something that was closed started opening without them even deciding to let it open. That is Ace of Cups. That is the heart moving faster than the mind's caution can keep up with. Okay, and what is so specific about this for the age gap reading is that I am getting here that the older person in this connection is often the one who had the more closed heart coming in. Not because they are less capable of love, because they have been through more cycles, more experiences that taught them to be careful, more times of investing deeply and having that investment not be returned at the same level. And so they had developed a quality of carefulness around their heart that looked from the outside like guardedness. And then the younger person in this connection with their specific frequency, their specific energy, their specific way of seeing this older person clearly bypassed that guardedness in a way nobody else had managed to do. Okay, the Ace of Cups is that bypass, that opening, that moment of something genuinely new becoming possible. I am getting here strong Cancer energy. And Cancer is the sign that feels most deeply and protects that feeling most carefully. If there is Cancer in either person's chart, sun, moon, rising, Venus, this is going to land for you. The Cancer in this connection is the one who took longer to open, who needed to feel completely safe before they let what they actually felt become visible. And they are beginning to feel safe. Okay, that is what the Ace of Cups is showing. The safety is arriving, the opening is happening, and what comes in through that opening is going to be significant. Card 4, Seven of Cups, reversed, they ARE done. Looking at other options, Seven of Cups reversed comes through next. And I actually love this card appearing here because in its upright position, the Seven of Cups is someone standing in front of many options, many possibilities, many directions, and not being able to choose. Being almost paralyzed by the variety. Not committing, not landing, just floating in the space of maybe. Reversed, they have chosen. Okay, they are done floating. They are done keeping options open as a way of not having to be fully present with one thing. They have looked at what is in front of them, who is in front of them, and they have chosen. And what I am getting here specifically is that the age gap situation for at least one person in this connection created a period of this upright Seven of Cups energy, where they were asking themselves whether this made sense, whether the difference in years was going to create problems down the road, whether they should keep their options more open rather than committing to something that did not fit the conventional template. Okay, and that internal debate that hovering in the space of maybe is ending. The reversal is the landing. Here is what I am seeing practically for this card. I am getting an image of someone who had been casually connected to other people, not necessarily romantically dating multiple people, but just not closing doors, keeping a certain amount of emotional distance from everyone, including this person they have feelings for, because committing feels like a risk they have not been ready to take. And then something shifted. A conversation, a moment, an experience of seeing this person in a specific context that made the choice suddenly completely clear. And the Seven of Cups reversed is the moment after that clarity arrived. where they stopped debating and started deciding. Okay, Spirit is being very specific here that for some of you, this card is about someone who had been entertaining attention from other people, maybe other people who were closer to their own age, more conventionally appropriate by outside standards, and quietly realizing that none of those other connections had what this one has. That none of those other people made them feel what this person makes them feel. And that realization is what turned the Seven of Cups from upright to reversed. The other options became irrelevant the moment they got honest with themselves about what they actually want. Okay, card 5, the Hierophant reversed, they ARE, choosing you over what is expected of them. The Hierophant reversed drops in, and this card is so specific to the age gap theme of this reading that Spirit clearly saved it for exactly this moment. Okay, the Hierophant upright is tradition. Convention, the way things are supposed to be done according to the rules of society, family, community. Expectation, reversed, someone is choosing to step outside of what is expected of them. Choosing authenticity over conventional approval. Choosing what is true for them over what looks acceptable to others. And in the context of this reading, this card is pointing at someone who is dealing with outside noise about this connection. Family opinions. Friend opinions. That voice in their own head that has internalized what a relationship is supposed to look like and keeps asking whether this fits that template. And the Hierophant reversed is showing me that they are in the process of choosing their truth over that noise. Okay, not without difficulty, not without some internal wrestling, but choosing it. Let me give you a practical example here, because I am getting very specific imagery with this card. I am seeing someone who has a person in their life, a parent, a sibling, a close friend, who has made a comment about this connection. Maybe not a cruel comment, maybe even a well-meaning one, but a comment that reflects a conventional framework about what makes sense. Something like, "Are you sure about the age difference?" Or "What do you have in common, really?" And I am seeing the person this reading is for sitting with that comment, turning it over, and arriving at the same answer every time they turn it over, that the comment does not apply to this specific situation. That whoever made it was operating from a template that does not fit what this actually is. Okay, the Hierophant reversed is the moment they stop trying to make their truth fit the template and start trusting their truth on its own terms. And Spirit is saying that moment is happening now. Or it has just happened. Or it is just about to happen. Okay? And when it lands, when this person stops measuring this connection against conventional expectations and just lets it be what it actually is, something is going to open up between you that has been slightly held back by all the second guessing. Okay, I am also getting here that the Hierophant reversed carries a message for you specifically if you have been the one worrying about what other people think about this connection. Spirit is saying the people who matter will come around when they see how this makes you, when they see the quality of this connection in your life, when they see you happy and grounded and genuinely thriving. That is the argument that changes minds, not explanations, not defending the relationship, just the visible evidence of two people who are genuinely good for each other. Okay, card 6, Two of Cups, the mutual recognition is real and it is building. Two of Cups comes through, and I already love this card anywhere in a reading, but in this specific reading, after everything that has come before it. This card is confirmation of something that I think a lot of you have been hoping to hear confirmed. Okay, the Two of Cups is mutual. That is the whole point of this card. It is not one person feeling something and the other person being uncertain. It is two people whose emotional energies are genuinely oriented toward each other at the same level. Both aware, both feeling it, both choosing it. And what Spirit is specifically showing me here is that whatever uncertainty has existed in this connection, whatever second guessing, whatever worry about whether this makes sense, whatever concern about the age gap, or what other people think underneath all of that on both sides, is a mutual recognition that is not going away. Okay, that is just true. And the Two of Cups is confirming that truth. Now I want to talk about how this mutual recognition has been showing up practically, because I am getting very specific here. Okay, I am seeing moments of connection between you two that have had a quality that is different from ordinary interaction. Conversations that went longer than either of you planned. Moments where you were both surprised by what the other person said because it reflected something in you that most people do not see. Moments of shared humor that felt very specific, like inside jokes that formed faster than inside jokes are supposed to form. Okay, little things. The kind of little things that accumulate into evidence of something real even before either person has named what it is. And the age gap in the context of the Two of Cups is so interesting because genuine mutual recognition does not perform. It does not try to bridge a gap artificially. It just exists. And when two people with different numbers of years behind them land in that genuine mutual recognition, the gap becomes irrelevant in the actual experience of the connection, even if it remains visible from the outside. You are not working to bridge a gap when you are together. You are just together. Okay, and that ease is what the Two of Cups is pointing to. Card 7, Knight of Cups, someone is getting ready to make a move Knight of Cups rides in, and this card is giving me such specific action energy in this reading that I actually want to pause and make sure I communicate this clearly. Okay. The Knight of Cups is someone who moves toward what they feel. Not recklessly, not without having done the internal work of getting clear about what they feel first, but once they are clear, they move. With intention. With a quality of romantic energy that is genuine rather than strategic. And this Knight is moving toward you. Okay, what I am getting here is that something is building toward an expression. A move, a gesture, or a conversation, or a moment where what has been in the unspoken space between you gets spoken. And the Knight of Cups is the card that tells me this is coming from a genuine place. Not performance, not strategy. Real feeling that has been building long enough that containing it is becoming less possible than expressing it. Now, for some of you, this move has already happened. The Knight already rode in and said what they needed to say or did what they needed to do. And if that is the case, then this card is confirmation that what they expressed was genuine, that the move was real, that the feeling behind it is not going to evaporate in the morning. Okay, for others, this is upcoming. And Spirit is saying, pay attention to the moments that seem to be almost moments. The conversations that get close to naming what is between you and then veer away at the last second. The quality of attention this person gives you when they think you are not noticing. The way certain interactions have a slightly different energy, more careful, more intentional, slightly charged than your ordinary exchanges. That is the Knight of Cups preparing. Building to the moment. Okay, Pisces energy is so strong with this card in this reading, and Pisces moves from the heart in a way that is unmistakable when it finally expresses itself. If there is Pisces energy in either person's chart, this is going to resonate very specifically for you. The romantic gesture is going to have a Pisces quality to it, sincere, slightly poetic, coming from a place of genuine depth rather than surface charm. And it is going to land differently than anything else this person has expressed to you, because it is coming from the deepest place in them. Okay, card 8, the world. This connection completes something in both of you. The world comes in as the 8th card. And you guys, I actually had to just sit with this for a second when it came out, because the world appearing in a reading about a spiritual frequency match is not subtle. Okay, the world is completion. It is wholeness. It is the card of someone who has arrived at the end of a full journey and is carrying everything that journey taught them. And in the context of this connection, Spirit is showing me that both of you bring a completed version of something to this. Not perfect completed. There is a difference. What I mean is this. You have both been through cycles. You have both had experiences, some wonderful, some painful, some that taught you things you did not particularly want to learn but needed to learn. And those experiences have shaped you into who you are right now. And who you are right now is specifically compatible with who the other person is right now. Okay, not who you were 5 years ago. Not who either of you might have been at a different point in your journey, but who you are now. And the age gap is actually part of why this works in the timing of it. Because you arrived at this version of yourselves at the same time, even though you started from different places. Okay, that is the world. That is divine completion meeting divine completion. I am also getting something very specific here about the age difference in the context of the world card. For some of you, the older person in this connection has gone through a journey that brought them to a place of real wisdom and real self-knowledge and real openness to love in a way that they were not capable of earlier in their life. They had to go through everything they went through to arrive at the quality of person they are now. And the younger person in this connection is meeting that wisdom and recognizing it as something they wanted without necessarily knowing they were looking for it. Okay, and the younger person brings something equally significant, an energy, a freshness, a quality of seeing possibility that sometimes dims as people accumulate more years of protective living. And the older person recognizes that quality, and it wakes something up in them. Okay, both of you are completing something in the other. That is the world. That is why Spirit says this is spiritual. Because this is not just two people who find each other attractive. This is two people whose presence in each other's lives accelerates something, completes something, opens something. Okay, what Spirit wants Emmy to say directly before I close this, okay, you guys? So I have a few more things coming through, and Spirit is being very insistent about all of them, so I am going to bring them through one by one. Okay, first thing. The 222 energy in this reading is not decoration. Okay, Spirit is very specifically using that number to point to the partnership alignment between you two. 222 is the number of divine partnership, of two energies coming into alignment that were intended to align, of something that looks like coincidence, but is actually something much more organized than that. If you have been seeing 222 or 22 or 2222 or any variation of that number pattern in your life recently, Spirit is saying that is a direct confirmation that this connection is being pointed to by something larger than ordinary circumstance. Okay, take that seriously. Second thing, someone in this connection has been talking themselves out of it, regularly going back and forth between knowing this is right and convincing themselves it is complicated. And Spirit wants me to say the complication is largely constructed by thoughts about what this is supposed to look like from the outside. When you strip away the should and the supposed to and the what will people say, what remains is actually very simple. Two people who feel right together. Two people who bring out something in each other that nothing else has brought out. Two people vibrating at the same frequency. Okay, stop complicating the simple thing. Third thing, for those of you where there has been some kind of pause or distance in this connection recently, whether that is no contact or reduced contact, or a period where things went quieter than they had been, Spirit is saying that pause is ending. Something is about to shift. A message, a reach out, a moment where the distance collapses in a way that feels both sudden and also like it was always going to happen. Okay, get ready for contact. Get ready for this energy to start moving again. Fourth thing, and Spirit was very specific about this. There is someone in your environment who does not understand this connection and has been either actively or passively discouraging it. Maybe not directly, maybe just with their energy, their skepticism, their questions. And Spirit wants you to know that person's framework for what makes sense in a relationship is not the framework that applies here. Okay, their toolkit cannot measure what this is. You are not required to fit this into a container that was not designed to hold it. This connection is rare enough that ordinary measurement tools genuinely do not apply. Okay, trust what you know from the inside of this rather than what someone else can perceive from the outside. Fifth thing, the physical attraction in this reading is real, and I have not talked about it directly, but Spirit is saying do not overlook it. Okay, because sometimes when a connection has a lot of spiritual and emotional depth, people can almost start to spiritualize it away from the body. But the physical piece is real here. The chemistry is real. The attraction is mutual, and it is strong, and it is one of the things that makes this a full frequency match rather than just a compatible friendship. Okay, the 222 energy is body, mind, and spirit. All three. And all three are confirmed in this reading. Sixth thing. This is the last one, and I felt Spirit push on this the hardest, so I want to make sure it lands. Okay, the age gap is going to become less visible over time. Not because it changes the numbers stay the same, but because the life you build together will create its own reality that makes the number increasingly irrelevant. The experiences you share will belong to your specific timeline together rather than to the separate timelines you came from. And people who initially questioned it will look at what you have built, and the number will stop being the first thing they think about. Okay, Spirit is showing me that this connection, if both people choose it fully, has the potential to become something that people who once questioned it will eventually point to as an example of what love actually looks like. Okay, that is not small. That is the world card energy. That is completion. What I want you to carry out of this reading, okay, so beautiful energy today, you guys. I am going to go ahead and bring this to a close, but before I do, I want to say one more thing that Spirit gave me right at the end here. Frequency match does not mean identical. Okay, you two are not going to agree on everything. You are not going to have had all the same experiences. You are not going to see everything through exactly the same lens because different years create different context, and that is actually one of the interesting and enriching things about this connection rather than a problem with it. What frequency match means is that at the level where it counts most values, emotional intelligence, the vision for what a good life looks like, the quality of care you want to give and receive you, are the same. Okay, the difference in years adds texture. The alignment in frequency is the foundation. And Spirit wants me to close with this. You were not guided to this reading by accident. The title found you because something in you recognized what it was pointing to. And what it is pointing to is real. Trust the recognition. Trust the pull. Trust the quiet, knowing that this is something different from what you have encountered before. Because it is. Okay, frequency does not have a birth year. And love does not check identification before it decides where to land. Let me know in the comments what resonated for you today. Tell me if you are the older or the younger energy in this connection and what landed most specifically. Subscribe if you want to be here for the next reading, and share this with the person who needs to hear that what they have found is real regardless of the number. I will connect with you guys later. Love you. Bye.